In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to implement a show more or show less button inside your bubble.io apps. Perfect for displaying long pieces of text in a cleaner, user-friendly way. We will cover two beginner-friendly approaches. A basic layout where the see more or see less text always stays beneath the long text, as you can see in this instance. And a more advanced approach where the show more text stays in line with the main text itself whenever there is room for it, as you can see in the second example here. Let's start with the basic approach where the show more or show less button appears right beneath the long text. First, place a group on your page. Place two text elements within that group by getting them from the visual element. After placing the text in the group, create a custom state on the group itself. I called mine collapsed. Give it a data type of yes no, which is a boolean, and give it a default value of yes. In the first text in the group, check for the custom state and format it as a text. In the formatting for yes, place in your long text, and this can be text from the database. I'm using the dummy text here from the Lorem Ipsum website. Truncate the text by using the truncate to operator and give it a max value. This will count the number of characters in the text and display them by default. In the field for no, you just want to show the entire text that's going to be visible when the user expands it. In the second text element, you want to still get the custom state and format it as a text. This time around, in the field for yes, you want to type out the text see more. This is because when the custom state is yes, it simply means we're showing a truncated version of the text and we want to give the user a way to expand it. On the other hand, once the text has been expanded, we want to let the user know they can see less of the text. So in the field for no, you want to type out show less or see less. On this second text, you can design it however you want by giving it a color that's going to let it stand out. Begin a workflow on this text, and in that workflow, all you need to do is set the custom state of the main group. So get the main group in here, choose the custom state, and simply toggle it. So this is a way we toggle booleans in Bubble. You get the current custom state value and you check to see if it is yes or no. So in this instance, if it is yes, it's going to put no, and if it is no, it's going to put yes. Here are the results. On the left, we have a sample of the full text, and on the right, we have a sample of the text when it's truncated by default. And you can see more by clicking on this button. Now, when we click on that button, it expands the text so that we view all of it at once, as well as we can show less. Now, as you can see, the downside with this approach is that this see more button is always beneath the entire text itself. And it doesn't matter if there is room, for instance, here, where this text can be placed. Now let's look at the approach where this text stays in line with the main text itself. Back in the Bubble editor, let's install the Toolbox plugin. Go down to the Plugins tab, add plugin, and search for Toolbox. You should see the first plugin here, install. Back in the Design tab, I'm going to copy over the basic setup that we did. The approach is quite similar, where we have the custom state. Again, you can add a custom state by clicking here, giving it a name and selecting the type of boolean. and we give it a default value of yes. Now we're simply going to place just one text element on the page, so we do not need this one. In this text element, you're going to add a dynamic expression. You get the custom state and you format it as text. Add the full text in the yes field and truncate it to whatever value you like, and add the full text in the no field, but this time around do not truncate, just like before. After the expression, you want to click outside of it, give a space, and I will leave this text in the description. Paste this text in, and it's simply a URL that points to a JavaScript function. Now, before we continue with this function, I'd like us to first place our JavaScript element on the page, and you do that by going under the visual elements and you see the JavaScript to bubble plugin. Click on that and place it on the page. I already have it here. The settings for these plugins involve you adding a unique identifier under the bubble fn suffix. So I have the text more in here. Toggle on the trigger event and toggle on the publish value field. Under value types, you want to change the type to a boolean of yes no. Back in the text element, you want to modify the text here. So after JavaScript bubble underscore fn underscore, you want to add the same text here that you have in the plugin. So I have more here because I've added more in here. So whatever text you have in here, it should be the same here, and it's case sensitive. So here, after that, you want to come in the brackets, and in both apostrophe signs, you want to add a dynamic data inside. Let's get the custom state from the main group. And we check the value. The reason why I'm saying is no is because our custom state defaults to yes. So if your custom state defaults to no, you have to put yes in here. So we have our target to serve. The next part now will be to listen for the event when the user clicks on this button. But before we do that, we need to show the show more or show less button itself. In between the closing bracket for the target self and the opening bracket for the closing URL, you want to add dynamic data. So in here, we're going to check for the custom state again. And this time around, we'll format it as text. Because what we want to happen is when the custom state is yes, we want the user to see a text that says show more. And when it's no, we want it to say show less. If we refresh our app, you see that there's a show more text here, but it really at this point it's not going to do anything because we've not completed the workflow, right? So back in our app, we are going to listen for an event when the user clicks on this text, and the way to listen for that is go to the workflow tab, add a new workflow. Under elements, select a JavaScript to bubble event, select the plugin element you placed on the page, add a new action under element action to set the state of an element, and the element we want to set the state of is our group more or less, because we want to change the custom state, and we will do that by simply getting the JavaScript's value. Remember, this value we set in the plugin was a yes or no value. That is why it doesn't throw an error. If we refresh our page, see that clicking on the show less or show more text it expands, and the text actually stays in line when there is room for it. It only comes to the next line when there is no room for it. We can make this stand out by adding a color, and to do that you come into the text here and you at the beginning type in the text color equal to, you give the color code that you want and you close a bracket. Then at the end you want to open a bracket, /, and you type the word color and you close the bracket. As you can see, the color immediately changes in here, and if we refresh the page, the color changed. Both approaches rely on custom states to work, but the inline approach uses the Toolbox plugin to make sure that the text stays in line whenever there is enough room for it, while the basic approach simply uses Bubble's default workflow approach that places the text beneath the long text and it always stays there. If you found this video helpful, then check out my other videos where I show how to build features on Bubble. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay blessed.